Ed Wagner, sales staff at Mann. I'm out of our Hackensack, Minnesota location. Today, I'm going to discuss, it's time to pull your honey, right? So you've got full honey supers. You need to get them pulled off of the hives, uncapped, extracted, bottled. So that's where we're going to go. So we're going to start with removing those honey supers. And you got a few different options here. We've got some chemical options, and then we've got some equipment options. So the chemical options are the couple products that we sell here at Mann Lake, Honey Robber and Honey Bandit. Now, Honey Robber is a very potent product. It's very smelly, and it's safe to use, but this is a situation where you've got to be very careful with this product. You don't want to spill any on yourself. You definitely don't want to spill any in a vehicle. It's real good. It's very effective. It's affordable. It's a nice price point, but it's also something that if you spill a little bit on something, you can have a pretty big mess. This is not something you necessarily want to store in your house just because of that lingering smell. It stays a long, long time. Honey Bandit, much better product to use for a small scale beekeeper. It's a natural product. It's easy to use. It smells pleasant. It's got a little bit of an almond extract smell to it. It's a good product to use. And both of these are a liquid, either a spray or you would have some sort of a jar or a bottle that you would apply the product to the underside of a fume board. This is a fume board. You would apply a little bit of this product on the one side, on the felt side. This would go on top of your honey super that you are removing your honey from. It just sets flat. You put a little kink in it so that you've got a little bit of an airflow so that fume goes down and pushes bees out of the honey supers. A couple of the equipment items that we've got are, what they do is this would be something you would put on the day before, the evening before you're going to pull your honey supers. This is what we call an escape screen, and what this does is you would set this with the screen down toward the colony, and your bees in the honey super would exit the honey super, and then they would walk out through this screening area. And because of the angles that these wood strips offer, is your bees would leave that area. Now, if they thought they were going to go back in there, they would hit one of these angles, and they would take the angle, and then they would walk right out. So it's obviously a lot slower than the chemicals, but this is something that if your bees are in the backyard, go out the evening before, the day before, put this on between your honey supers and your brood chambers, and your bees will just walk right out, and you can pull that the next day. You don't want to leave these on for very long. This is something you just leave on for a day. You've already got an inner cover. This is a couple of other options for you. Bee escape, similar to the escape screen in the sense that it's got some angles in there. Bees could go one way and not the other. You would just use a couple of small screws, a couple of small tacks, use your existing inner cover with that. We also have the small plastic bee escape that would snap into that rectangle in the middle of your inner cover. And how that operates is your bees would be able to exit through the circle. There's a couple of light springs, and the springs are light enough your bees can walk out, but there's a barrier there so your bees won't be able to go back in. Once you get your honey supers removed, and you get them back to your honey house, now you need to uncap. Get them back to your garage, kitchen, wherever you're using for your honey extraction process. So we've got a few different things here. We've got knives, we've got plain knives, we've got heated knives, we've got some forks, we've got some rollers. So the roller, real quick, it's simple, it's easy. This would be something that you would just think paint roller, right? You're just going to run that up and down your cappings. All those little forks on there are going to just punch holes in your cappings. It's just going to move your cappings aside so you can extract and pull your honey out. We've got multiple knives. We've got plain, unheated knives. It's always a good idea to have some really good hot water sitting aside for using the plain uncapping knife. So your plain uncapping knife, when you're not uncapping, you're going to set it in that hot water, and that hot water is going to get the metal hot. It's also going to clean off any wax or honey residue from your previous uncapping. Your plug-in hot knives, simple to use, right? You just plug them in, they get hot. You would use these for uncapping your frames. Keep in mind with the uncapping knives, with the heated stuff, very hot. There's some danger here. You've got to make sure that you're being safe. You got to make sure you've got a good something to set this on when you're not specifically uncapping at that moment. And you don't want these to just get plugged in and leave. This is only something that you're going to have plugged in when you're actually using it. Uncapping plain, very efficient, very good tool to use. It's a little bit simpler to operate than the knives. Again, this gets hot. You just pull this down, the caps just come right off. Very good tool. You've got a couple of options on what you're going to use with your capped honey frame. We've got this little tool right here. This is called the comb capper. It sits right on a 5-gallon pail. It's grooved on the bottom. Sits right on the 5-gallon pail. It's got a couple of notches in it that holds the frames in there. And it's just real simple. It holds this in place. Your cappings are going to go right into your bucket right after that. Fits on a 5-gallon pail, 6-gallon pail. Fits on lots and lots of pails. Very nice little tool. You can see what we got going on back here. We've got extractors. You've got different sizes of these, and you can pick what size that fits your operation, whether it's a 2-frame, a 3-frame, 8 frames, 12 frames, whatever you've got space for and whatever your operation needs. Keep in mind, you only use these for a few days a year, so don't get something bigger than what you can't store, right? You've got to have a place to store this when you're not using it. Stainless steel most of them are all stainless steel. There's some plastic stuff out there. The plastic's pretty good, stainless steel's better. The stainless steel it cleans easier, right? Just easier to deal with. Once your honey comes out of your extractor, you're going to run it through different types of filters. We got some different filtering materials here, some polyester and nylon, some stainless steel. Obviously the stainless steel, easier to clean up because it's metal. You can get this really hot, get that honey and that wax cleaned out of that real easy because you can use hotter water to get that cleaned up. Still, the plastic nylon, still a real good, efficient use. Most of these either sit right inside of a pail, or if you need a little bit more space, we've got this right there for using that, for that filtering material right there as well. Different size buckets. Get the size of bucket that you can move. Honey's very heavy, 12.5 pounds per gallon. So don't get a bunch of 5-gallon pails, fill them up, and then go, oh my gosh, how do I move a 60-pound bucket, right? Okay, so pick the pail that works for you, 3.5 gallon, 5 gallon, whatever the case may be there. Once you've got your honey, you got your honey supers pulled, you've got your frames uncapped, you've got your honey extracted, now you need to put it in bottles. So we've got a couple of different options here. Inexpensive option. Again, we're back to the 5-gallon pail. Make sure you're buying food grade pails. A lot of your hardware store, lawn and garden store, 5-gallon pails might not be food grade, so check that out. Make sure you're getting food grade pails. We do some stuff here where we actually drill the hole in the 5-gallon pail and install a honey gate. It's a nylon threaded honey gate. When it's closed, you shouldn't get any dripping of honey out there. You just open it up to get your honey out of that into your bottle. We've got bigger units, stainless steel again. With the honey gate right out of, you can go right out of this into your bottle through the honey gate. Honey keg, so this is a heated, this would be something that you would plug in. It's 110 volt, just right into a standard outlet. This is going to keep your honey hot, keep your honey warm so that you can get a good flow a little bit easier. It's a better bottling valve, obviously, here than what we've got here. Still very efficient. This is just going to be more efficient. It's going to be just a little bit cleaner for you as well. And then we've got a full line of containers. We've got plastic, we've got glass, as small as 2 ounce, as big as 5-gallon pails. You've got different options on what you want to use, what your look is going to be, full line of labels, so you can actually put your own information on your honey containers. That's all I got. Middle of August, we're getting close to the extracting. Once you get that done, think mite treatments. We'll get back to you at a later date with mite treatments. Don't forget, like and subscribe.